So this is our second invited talk from Martin Domenko in the Netherlands. And you're going to talk to us today about simulated reality and the metaverse. Okay, over to you.
Thanks. So my name is Mark Tobias. As Nick mentioned, I'm the CEO of Domenko. And my talk will be about why simulated reality will be the driver for the metaverse and 3D immersive visualization in general. So, although many people discussed about the metaverse, it was actually on the 28th of October that Facebook announced its name change to Meta, and that it would actually commit to invest about $10 billion in the coming year and more than $100 billion in the coming 10 years. And that's where we see a huge hype about Meta, about the metaverse, and other companies like Tencent and Microsoft, and with its recent acquisition of Activision Blizzard, but also with the announcement of Mesh, they're fully committed to this trend. And I think I watched the talks, and there's a lot of passionate people about 3D. I'm in this market for almost 15 years. It seems like ages. Well, it is actually ages. But you see now people moving more and more towards immersive experiences or XR, and that's also how we position our technology a bit there. Well, what is the metaverse? Well, in essence, there's not really a clear definition for the metaverse. It can be compared to the early days of the internet or Web 3.0, where there was no clear idea of what we perceive as the internet today. Generally speaking, the metaverse is understood as a virtual world, which on the one hand is technology, and by virtual reality or augmented reality, and exists about independently of individual users, bi-directional, and unlike a classic virtual reality game, which you start and finish, the existence of the virtual world is permanent, and actually individuals enter and leave it when they want. So there are already platforms like Roblox, Fortnite, which have gaming at the origin. There is Omniverse, which I think is also related to the second talk of today a bit. And they are also actually already counted as metaverses. So we define the metaverse actually the same as our vision, because we want to create an experience that you cannot distinguish from reality. And we have called this simulated reality, where we state that we do not want to do that with wearables, and where the peripheral is actually you. And we believe that's an important one. Why are we moving away from 3D? And I think maybe that's especially for this audience probably of interest. I'm in this field for a long time, and we have always positioned our technology, this market, as 3D without glasses. But that's also where we see a lot of difficulties, because a lot of companies or our customers, let's say the bigger OEMs or technology companies, they all claim we have seen 3D. We have seen 3D for many years. It has never been a success. But XR or immersive experience, that is very of interest to them. So that's why we position this as simulated reality. But let me at least give you a glimpse of what we do. So this movie shows our technology, and of course, as you guys are very familiar, 3D, you will never see it on 2D display. But what we also create is a parallax, because we track people's eyes. You can see a different perspective of different viewing points. And by that, you create a parallax, and that's what we are able a bit to capture. The product is currently seen as a 32-inch 8K screen with 4K 3D per eye. So we believe in a world where you can see a 3D image without any wearables, where you make it easy for the user, where the user is totally free in what you can experience. But I would be maybe arrogant or ignorant if I would say that we're the only one. So there are two other companies that we see as main competitors, or where we actually see that these are our biggest contributors to create our joint market. They most likely will offer an experience that can be used for the metaverse, but their technology is a bit different and their approach is a bit different than ours, but I think definitely worthwhile to mention. And maybe you're aware of them. So it's, on the one hand, it's Leia. They created a LoomPad. It's actually a light field, or they call it 3D light field tablet, where they use a directional backlight behind the LCD to generate a 3D image, which can be seen without glasses. It's what they call multi-view, so meaning that They create multiple viewing points, which they repeat, and via that way you have a experience where you can see 3D without glasses. Then you have looking glass, where it is also some kind of lenticular or optical structure on top of an LCD, and on top of that, the LCD, they create, I think, 45 viewing points. So you can also create an experience where you can see that with multiple people. The viewing angle is a bit limited, but I'm quite charmed by the looking glass effect. I think it's quite nicely done. And although maybe limited in its use cases and its capabilities to integrate in actual products, I think the effect is quite nice. A bit about Dimenco. So we're based in the Netherlands, so it's about 8 o'clock in the evening for me. We're a spin-off from Philips. As said, we actually founded in 2010, so I'm in this field for quite some time. I was also part of the previous group of Philips, which was terminated or actually exited in 2009. We have about 35 employees. Of course, we have some patents. We are focused on 8K solutions also. We have full in-house R&D facilities. And the interesting part is that we have a fully developed and scalable supply chain. So that means that we are able, and we are actually in mass production. And I think that's a big step for especially autostereoscopic or glasses-free 3D technologies. Then, if you look at my topic of today, it says, simulated reality is actually a way to accelerate the metaverse. And the reason that I actually state that is that the amount of HMD devices seem high and it's moving rapidly, but it's actually not that high if you compare it. So in 2016, IDC said, well, in 2020, 45 million VR devices will be shipped annually. The actual units are less than 10 million in 2020. Now in 2021, Statista actually forecast 60 million devices for 2025. And let's say that they will realize that, which is of course a huge number of devices. If you compare it with the actual market of total personal devices like laptops, mobile phones, tablets, monitors, these are 2 billion devices that are shipped yearly. So it is actually not that much if you compare it with the total market. So to really accelerate the metaverse, you need to get integrated into their normal personal devices. So wouldn't it therefore be great to experience the metaverse on your regular known device, such as your laptop or your mobile phone or your monitor? So that is what simulated reality is about, enabling the metaverse to anyone, anywhere, and any device, actually making use of existing product categories, design cycles, known technologies, known supply chains, and which are implemented very efficient. So that is our goal, and that's actually what we're doing today. And that's why we believe that technologies that are really close to the current supply chain will actually help to drive the metaverse. A bit about our technology, and I think other companies do make use of the same technology a bit. And the basis is lenticular. Lenticular is a very old principle. Many of you are probably known with it. And in the end, what we do is we apply a lenticular sheet on top of an LCD. In the picture, it's actually a straight lenticular. We use a slanted lenticular. And the lenticular actually redirects the lights to your left or right view, creating a 3D experience. So when we started with Dimenco, we actually used what we call multi-view. So we created multiple viewing points, which we directed to the eyes. A big downside of that is that there's also always a transition point. So the transition actually between two viewing cones. And that's actually causing a lot of discomfort. You cannot create a lot of 3D effect. And although we have worked for many years on that, we also have concluded at a certain moment in 2017 that this is not the way forward. So by still using this lenticular, we now actually add eye tracking. So there's a camera integrated into the laptop or the monitor. Often it is a stereo camera where we can triangulate and calculate the position of your X, Y, and Z dimension of the eye pupils. And based on that, we can redirect the light directly to your eyes. By that way, you have a very low crosstalk. You can create a huge parallax. And more importantly, you can also look around an object, because we do not only know the eye position, but we also know the perspective of the user related to the content that we are showing. So you can truly create a look around effect, which is very close to XR without wearables. Then content. When we started in 2010, content was driven mostly by the movie market. It was also a different market or industry where Hollywood and TV manufacturers were actually pushing technology. And I think that was one of the difficulties at that time, because there was a lot of movies, but it was very difficult for a user to get access to those movies. There were all kind of hurdles, and they were only able to use those movies. Nowadays, everything is 3D. You know, all game engines are easily outputting stereo. All models are already in 3D. All kind of applications are in 3D, and actually, the whole metaverse is 3D. That's the whole idea of it. So I think that's where there's a lot of momentum, where we can actually generate any content anywhere and use that in stereo displays. And I think that will be a big driver for this market. To get a bit more in detail on what we do. So we actually, we have fully developed spatial display technology. And that actually means that we create a switchable lenticular. So where we just mentioned the lenticular sheet on top of an LCD, we have a bit more complicated stack. That complicated stack actually is 2 ITO plates with a lacquer of a lenticular structure, LC material, and by putting a current on the LC material, we can actually switch the refractive index in such a way that you either have a 2D or a 3D image. So why is this important? Because if people would like to buy a laptop or a TV or a monitor, they do not want to degrade their normal experience, their normal 2D experience. Normally, a lenticular would actually degrade the image by factor 2, approximately, and it would be, for example, very difficult to read small text in wording, in Excel, etc. And via that way, or via this technology, you can actually use your laptop like any other laptop and make it accessible to anyone, anywhere. For a laptop, on average, the optical stack is between 1.3 and 1.5 millimeter. What we combine is integrated eye tracking. So it's a very small eye tracking module. Is that a very complicated camera? It's not. It's actually 2 synchronized 60 Hertz monochrome cameras, VGA even. So very low cost, where we actually track your eyes. And optionally, we actually work with Ultraleap, who can actually integrate a hand tracking module. And then you can not only see the 3D object, but you can actually also interact with the object that you see. So literally the object that you see floating in front of you, you can interact and move around. Of course, we offer all kind of plugins and compatibility. We work very closely with Microsoft, Intel, and NVIDIA, and they help us to build this ecosystem. So we have DirectX plugins, OpenXR plugins, TeamVR plugins, and actually these will help us to create the ecosystem. We're not able to do that by ourselves. So yes, this just maybe sounds like that we are doing a lot, but as I said, our competitors are also doing a lot. And I think this is a category that we have to build together. And I'm very confident that we're actually able to do so. And of course, we have all kinds of software tools that are compatible. And again, these are not rocket science. This is quite easy software tools that can be implemented quite easily. And the reason is that we only use a stereo image. And by generating the different perspectives of the stereo image in the game engine, it's quite easy. With your background, you probably also know that in a video, that's not possible. That's correct. So although we can play out any 3D video or any 3D movie, of course, we cannot calculate a different perspective of a video that's been shot in stereo. So
see things from a new perspective with Spatial Labs on Concept D. Its cutting-edge technology combines a lenticular lens display and 2 eye-tracking cameras to render your 2D models in a 3D space in real time, enabling new experiences and applications across a wide range of industries. User-friendly and easy to use, you'll enhance your workflows like never before, with vivid, precise, and realistic visuals through every step of the process. Spatial Labs gives you the most in-depth and immersive viewing experience ever, letting you bring everyone into the world you create to better enjoy, visualize, and understand your big ideas. Avoid unnecessary steps in your workflow as you realize your designs in a highly precise working environment, narrowing the gap between conception and completion, and allowing you to visualize your ideas in a 3D environment so real that you feel like you can reach out and touch your creation. With Spatial Labs on Concept D, add a new dimension to your creations.
So this is the launch actually of Acer of a SR laptop. So our model is that we allow, or we actually license our technology to other companies. And Acer is our first customer that actually brings such product to market. It's shipping right now, and I think it's a huge milestone in 3D adaptation and accessibility for this market. Good thing is that we are hoping to announce another OEM very quickly. So hopefully this will drive the Metaverse, but also 3D content in general. That's it. I think I'm right on time. So if you have any questions, please let me know.